Welcome. My goal in this video is to expose some lies about silver and gold and to reveal hidden secrets that they don't want you to know. So what are the lies that I'm hearing about silver and gold? And I won't lie to you, some of these lies get under my skin because they're being disingenuous to you, I, and our fellow Americans. So from time to time, I will hear someone say that gold and silver are not money. And now that includes bankers, the Federal Reserve, politicians, our government. These people do not want the public to think that gold and silver are money. And I think it's a foolish lie. Now, it's not in their interest for you to hold gold and silver as a core holding. In their eyes, gold is a barber's relic of the past, and silver is a joke, therefore they mock it. Now here's the hidden secret behind these fiat money pushers, and this contradicts what central banks are doing at the moment. In particular, they hold gold as a monetary reserve and continue to accumulate gold. In recent years, central banks around the world, led by Russia and China, have added hundreds of tons of gold to their reserves, making record-breaking gold purchases. The central banks are consuming gold at an alarming rate. And now, there are those who concede that gold is money, but they insist that silver is not. And it is unlikely, however, that our incredible, wise U.S. founding fathers would agree with that. The word dollar was originally defined in terms of grains of silver. In fact, a coinage act was passed in 1792 that contained this provision. In that act, Congress codified that was almost universally practiced. Approximately 3/4 of an ounce of silver was to be contained in a silver dollar. Now, the foundation of our circulating currency was in fact silver. And it's true that central banks generally do not hold silver in their reserves, but our government has obviously removed silver from our circulating coinage. This stuff, however, remains the tangible money of the people, and when the currency collapses and the public dumps their paper dollars, silver is far more likely to be used as barter than gold. Now, silver will not fill that role immediately. Initially, goods will be exchanged for goods, but that will quickly become untenable. All across the country, I believe that there will be an unprecedented silver education. There will be a return of silver as a trusted currency of exchange. As investors panicked this year, they sadly chose the US dollar as their safe haven of choice. And I do have hope that the general population is starting to wake up. And if you take a look at some of these bullion dealerships online, they have been swamped with orders, and all of my local coin shops have been packed with foot traffic. I do believe that we are getting closer to a gold and silver rush when everyone finally wakes up and realizes how delusional it is to put their hard-earned savings into a dying fiat currency. A fiat currency is inherently designed to lose its purchasing power over time. And of course, as we all know, that is exactly what's happening to the US dollar. And so now this leads us to another lie that I hear about precious metals. And some will say that it won't protect you from raging inflation. And I'm being honest, when I hear this, it tends to get under my skin. So yes, the price of gold and silver have not responded to inflation the way that many people have expected, especially gold and silver stackers. Nevertheless, this is a mistake that needs to be corrected. It is common for the perception of what a central bank will do in response to soaring inflation to temporarily delay the appropriate price moves with precious metals. Therefore, central banks expectations artificially suppress where gold and silver will eventually go. At the moment, the expectations are that the Federal Reserve to continue fighting inflation until Jerome Powell and Grandma Janet Yellen and the rest of the company can bring down inflation to their beloved 2% average. And I think, if you're fully awake, I think you understand that one, inflation, that there's no way that we have 5% inflation or whatever the number is. I mean, just go down to the grocery store. And the inflation numbers are not calculated back like in the 80s. And I think that's hilarious, and it's just a complete fantasy, and I think we have passed the point of no return, and it really is a smack to the face, and it's an insult, and I and the American people, as they are attempting to give us a false narrative that they will win the battle against the inflation. And in my eyes, the US dollar has crossed the currency Rubicon, and gold and silver will eventually rise to prominence. And according to my opinion, there will be no taming of inflation or winning the battle. And gold and silver and the people will respond once the central banks' emperors have been exposed. Don't let doing the right thing discourage you. In my eyes, we are just seeing a temporary delay in gold and silver's response to inflation, and it's not the end of the story. The next lie that I hear about gold and silver is that they are terrible investments. There are a couple of reasons for this lie, this accusation. A short-term approach to precious metals is the first problem. A contrary investor has patience, but if you're not, patient goes right out the window. I'm not picking on young people, the youngsters, but they are especially prone to getting sucked into schemes like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in hopes of getting rich real quick. And I think a great recession and a pandemic have just slapped this generation around, so maybe we should give them a little bit of a break. I think why some of these schemes have their interests is that they're trying to catch up financially, and they are all willing to unfortunately gamble their savings. And it's sad to see that. It really is. It makes me sad to think about them, to be honest with you. And now silver and gold, in their eyes, are not attractive assets, or they think that they won't make money from this. But there's another reason why people say gold and silver are lousy investments. Well, they're a little right, to be honest with you. There are better ways to build your wealth than by investing in gold and silver, if you pick the right time frame, of course. Silver and gold have done better than many other assets, however. Even the stock market. Yes, you can make money with them, but they are not traditional investments. And don't waste your hard-earned money. Protect what you already have with precious metals, and by all means, for every age group out there, please don't gamble with your money. Invest wisely. So this now leads us to the last lie that I once in a while hear. And the final lie that I hear is that gold and silver are risky assets for the average investor. Alright, so this is being promoted by Wall Street, and most so-called financial experts tell this lie. And they have been instructed to promote the anti-silver and anti-gold propaganda campaign that has been going on for decades. So what's the reason? Well, when investors like you and I park our wealth in precious metals, the financial industry loses out on commissions and fees. Hence, these liars call them exotic assets or risky assets. And in their advice, they tell their clients to avoid gold and silver. So with all that being said, hopefully today you have understand why these lies about precious metals are being promoted, and more importantly, I hope that you use this knowledge to help you guide in your investment decisions. Remember this, gold and silver are money, they are wealth. Think of these tangible items as a life insurance policy. Now before I go, I'd like to leave you a message that I hope inspires you. Now please be aware that this message is not financial advice, but for entertainment purposes only. So here's the message. The holders of this financial insurance, precious metals, gold and silver, will survive and possibly even thrive in the upcoming financial crisis. So keep on stacking silver and keep on stacking gold. Till the next time, I'll see you then. Have a good one.